scenes. This is what goes on. I was saying.
You hit me with the next one.
I've got loads of really good ones. Right. Both exhausted.
Please don't bring out any more social media channels.
I know.
Rock and roll sister.
So welcome to my channel. Oh no, God, sorry, that was your part, wasn't it?
Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome to the channel if you are new. And I have a special guest, Mollie, on the channel today, which is so exciting. I feel like we've been wanting to do this video for a while now, haven't we?
We have.
And we finally sat down today after a little bit of fussing. We finally got the setup right, and we've got some good lighting. So we're going to sit down and do a Q&A, but not just kind of like any Q&A. We're basically going to do a Q&A around our businesses, how we run them, how we got started in the influence industry, and just everything that kind of goes on behind the scenes that you guys don't see, in terms of like, not behind the scenes of what when we, you know, shoot and things, more behind the scenes of like what actually goes on, of how we run it, how we work with management, how we work with brands. I feel like it's a good way for us to just kind of give you a bit more insight in what we actually do, because YouTube and Instagram is always kind of like surface level, right? Whereas like what actually goes on in the background of that is so different, I feel like. And we both have kind of different backgrounds.
Yeah, we do. So I'm Mollie.
Sorry, I'm chatting too much.
No, it's good. It's good. We've got this natural flow going on. I was a curve model for like 6 years, and then now I'm full-time doing like Instagram and social media and all that kind of stuff. We both have the same management. We're both with Insanity. I'm a size 18. You're like a
size 8.
Okay. And so we just thought it'd be really interesting to see it from two different points of views. And I also think we owe so much of our following and engagement and just like our whole careers to our followers, because we just couldn't survive without them. So I think it's exciting to lift the lid, and I think there is so much independence that you can get from earning money online, and that's just a huge part of life now and like our industry. So we just wanted to ask you guys some questions which you sent in, and answer them as honestly and openly as possible.
I was just thinking, actually, we're sat here, it's quite nostalgic. This is where we met, on this table, isn't it?
Oh my goodness, it is, isn't it?
You were sat there and I was sat here.
That's
we
so
had
funny.
A reward style it was like a meeting, wasn't it? Kind of like
a brunch.
Yeah, like a brunch.
Yeah.
That's where we met. That feels like ages ago though now.
It was pre-COVID. We're both with LTK as well. We both have Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. We're both exhausted.
Please don't bring out any more social media channels.
I know.
We can't.
I know. My eyes started watering then, actually. Yours have as well. It's too much.
Yeah.
We've got a bit of traffic noise outside, but
yeah,
that's London, baby. That's influencer lifestyle. Okay. So, interesting first question. How to get a management and get started, basically.
So for me, with management, I was kind of always anti-management. I was really enjoying just being on my own, working on my own, and just working with brands. So a lot of my income from my jobs comes through brand partnerships, and that's what I was obviously heading up the most with, like communications, emails. I really enjoyed kind of like meeting PRs, getting those relationships with brands, and just working with them timelessly. So I already had those connections with the brands, and I loved that. So for me, with management, I was kind of anti it for a while, and then I just realized I got to the point where I just couldn't do it all on my own anymore. And I had a few different managements reach out to me, and I just knew that they weren't the right fit. And then it got to the point, I remember one day just turning around to Chris and being like, okay, I really need management now. I feel like this is what's going to really help me in terms of being able to manage me, my schedule, and who I want to work with, and brands, because I want to be a bit more creative now and free my time up to be creative rather than doing all the admin work. So it was actually really good timing that my manager now, who I'm with, randomly reached out to me, and she was like, I've been following you for a while, you know, and we just had that connection straight away. And it was actually during COVID, so we generally met over the internet on Zoom calls.
Same.
And I just instantly knew she was the right manager for me, and I'd only heard good things about Insanity. Yeah, and Leona, who is my manager now, she's amazing. We work together literally every day. Like I speak probably to her more than I do like my best friend.
And it's all over WhatsApp as well.
Yeah,
so
it's really easy.
They know everything about like personal life. I'd speak about like dating to mine. I'm with Sarah at Insanity. But yeah, like you were saying, it's just about freeing up the time, and like I've just hired an assistant now, and I think you get to like a bottleneck stage where you can't do everything yourself as much as we'd love to. So you need to just delegate certain areas of like what is now a business for us, to experts, to free up time where you have the time to do the things that only Chloe can do. So like being in front of the camera, that's irreplaceable. So it's nice. It's nice that you have somebody to like chase your invoices and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think that's a massive thing. Like sort of the finance side of it. Obviously, I have an accountant anyway to deal with that, but just chasing invoices was such a like mundane task. So I think with management, you just find the right one, don't you? It's what works for you. And obviously there's so many different ones, and you literally had only good things to say, didn't you? I remember asking you about it.
I also think in terms of answering the question of like how do you actually get management, I think it's important to see it from their point of view, and it's like, what are you providing to them that they don't already have on their roster? So for me and them, I feel like it was this kind of like curvy girl but model and a bit of body positivity, but there's also style thrown in there. So I think it made sense for them to have me on their roster, because the type of collabs that we do now span such a huge area. So I can do like food, but I can do sex toys, and I do like fashion, and I can tick so many different boxes for them. So I think be unique and like really sit into your niche, be different from other people. I think being really like vocal on your platform helps as well. I think more and more they're looking for like personalities, people that really connect with their audience.
Yeah, because for us, we have different managers who are part of the same management company, but they only have a certain amount of people that they manage. So it's kind of what you're going to bring to them. So it's, I feel like with management, it's a 50-50. Like, what are they going to bring for you, and what are you going to bring for them? Right, this is a good one for you. Okay. I'm going to fire away. How do you stay organized with different projects, in brackets, workflow systems?
So as one word answer, Notion.
Literally.
Were you going to say the same?
No, you got me into it.
Yes, I am evangelizing Notion like no tomorrow, and I think this is such a good tool for anybody who has a life. Like there's just so many ways that you can use it. It's kind of like an online workspace. You can design it totally to what you need, whether that's like a calendar or tick boxes or just blank pages. It's just phenomenal, and I would not be able to do anything in my life without it. So yeah, Notion basically, and loads of communication with my managers. So we've got like managers here. We're actually filming today at LTK HQ. So we've got managers here that manage our whole affiliate marketing commission strategies and platforms. And then we obviously have managers at Insanity. I actually have a TikTok manager now as well. So just lots of communication with lots of different people. WhatsApp communication just makes so much sense. Like emails are just, they're too much.
Yeah, I feel like I'm quite a visual person when it comes to like organizing. Like I have to see like kind of like in blocks like of that day and what's going to happen and like the week ahead. So I think the main thing, obviously Notion, like Mollie said, Mollie introduced it to me when I was like on a verge of a breakdown. I was like, I've got so much stuff to do and I just don't know how to handle it.
Yeah.
But obviously just the typical to-do lists, just waking up, and I feel like sometimes just breaking it down, like the easiest things, just breaking it down in a to-do list. Because I feel like sometimes you can have a task that just feels so overwhelming, whereas if you break that task down, like for instance if you're filming a haul, you're like, right, I'll pick out the clothes, then I've got to steam them, then I'll set the tripod up. It's like breaking it down into little steps of how you can like manage your tasks. You hit me with the next one.
How do you get more followers in the beginning of launching an account? I feel like that's a really good question, because everyone just kind of wants to grow platforms, whether you are a brand or an individual or working for a brand, or
But do you know what it is? Sorry, on this question, I feel like everyone's so homing in on followers. And sometimes you don't need, obviously you need a base of followers, you know, but you don't need the most followers in the world. Like you don't need a massive number there. As long as you have,
like us.
As long as you have a good amount and they are invested and engaged with you, that's what really matters, and that's what kind of brands look for.
Yes. I also think we're always focused on what we can get from our followers. So we want more followers, we want more engagement, we want to buy through their affiliate links. There is so much what we want from them, and then we go on loads of different platforms, we want exactly the same thing. What are you providing to your audience that other people aren't? How are you doing it better? How are you creating value for your audience? Because if you want value in terms of you know, brand deals, more followers, just everything, you have to be bringing something to the table as well. You can't just expect people to follow you just because they do. The piece of content either needs to educate, inspire, or entertain, and
that's it.
Good on you if you can do all three at the same time. But yeah, I think TikTok is really good for growth on Instagram as well, actually.
I feel like TikTok sometimes is more of like an entertain platform, right? Whereas I feel like people maybe go to Instagram more for educational stuff.
Yeah, and I think all of us are finding that out now by virtue of the fact that we create vertical video content, and what works for Instagram Reels really doesn't work sometimes for TikTok.
Yeah,
you can't.
I remember when I first started TikTok, I just did it kind of like out of boredom, and the first lockdown, and me and Chris were just doing stupid videos, but they were getting a lot of views. And I think that it's because I was using that platform to show a bit of like my more different kind of side of my personality, just being fun and stupid, whereas I probably wouldn't have posted all of that on my Instagram. So I think it's good to have different platforms to kind of just
cross promote. I'm boiling, for the record. This is an alpaca wool blend, and it ain't cool.
I feel like a lot of people in this Q&A have been saying like about engagement rates.
Okay.
So the question is, if you aren't getting lots of engagement, should you just keep going or give up? Did you worry about engagement rates?
Oh, tricky question. I think yes, and I also think no. I think why you shouldn't worry about engagement rates is because that isn't the basis of why you create content. And if you're only thinking about the numbers, you'll probably lose the love for creating content, and then you'll just be in like a downward spiral.
You can get really in your head about it, and I think that's something that we've learned. I feel like even speaking together, that sometimes you can just go through periods where you really get in your head, like, you know, about your engagement, and then you just have to sometimes take a step back, and it's if you actually love your content. I think it's quality over quantity about what you're putting out. So if you're putting out content that you actually love, you know, you've worked hard on it, and it might not reach all of your audience, then that is out of your control. But I think it's just being consistent. You just have to stay consistent. So the question was, do you give up? And you just can't give up. You have to keep going. You might have a few days or weeks where like your content might not have the biggest reach, and then you'll just have that one piece of content that goes back up again, and it's just very much a roller coaster. You go up and down, and you just have to ride the roller coaster out. Sometimes I feel like you can know, and then it can just change on the day in terms of the algorithms, and you just can't control the algorithms.
And if we knew the answer to that, then every single one of our posts would be viral. But I think it's a mixture of not only focusing on the numbers and not getting in your head, but also where things are and aren't working. Learning, understanding, because the like analytics and insights behind our posts are so granular, so we can actually learn a lot from those. Just taking some time to evaluate what does and doesn't work. Ooh, juicy. Were you / are you shocked at how much influencers can get paid for ads? Loads of other questions about how much do you earn.
To be fair, when I first started, I did this as a hobby. I remember I was studying fashion, business and marketing at university, and I started up my Instagram, and I just loved posting my outfits because I was a personal stylist at the same time. I would just be posting the outfits that I was styling for customers or myself, and a lot of my friends would come to me and just ask for advice, and I just thought this is a nice little outlet for me to post, and I was just literally doing it as a hobby. And then I feel like as the kind of influencer, I feel like it started off as like bloggers, and then as the it's now kind of turned into influencers. It's definitely evolved. There's a lot more in it now than there probably was before. I feel like a lot more brands now are putting their budget into influencers, a lot of their marketing budget, because it works.
I was really shocked. So I obviously came from a modeling background where the rate's probably a tenth.
I remember you saying to me, you were just like, I remember how you were saying that you got paid so differently in the modeling world to the influencing world.
Can't speak too much about my modeling payments because that's it's in the contract. But yeah, there's a huge difference. I feel like you get treated very differently as a model versus like social talent, I guess you would say. It's big, but it is reflected in how successful we are at driving sales for brands. And through a platform like LTK, brands are able to have total transparency over how many people swiped up, how many people made a purchase, what was the value of that purchase, like as a total basket value, things like that. So we get what we create and give back to brands. yeah, it's just amazing.
I feel like it's evolving, it's gonna keep going, it's gonna just be getting better and better. So, next question, and I'm gonna do this last question here, we'll answer it, and then we're gonna do part 2 on Mollie's channel. So I'll leave her YouTube down below.
Like and subscribe.
Yeah, I'll leave Mollie's channel down below, so you can go head over and see part 2 on hers, and we'll be doing the exact same, answering all more questions, so you can find out all more info and goss.
Yeah.
So the last question I'm going to ask you is, how do you pick which brands to work with?
Good question. I think it depends on a lot of things. It depends on like their budget, their deliverables, so what they want from us. So do they want a YouTube? Do they want a grid post? Do they want stories? Do they want all of those? Do they want to work with us long term? What does my agency think of the fit between the brand and me? I think you have to say no to things that are that don't suit your budget and also don't align with you. So for example, I have a predominantly plant-based diet. I say predominantly because I like to have cheese board at Christmas and like cheat other times. So well, if you just see me cheating, you know, out around London with my diet, then don't ask any questions.
But that, guys, I've ran out of battery and storage.
Battery died.
Yeah.
So yeah, it has to fit with kind of like my ethics. So they just have to align with like my values. But yeah, I say yes to quite a few. Yeah.
See, I'm like the opposite, aren't I?
It's so interesting because I think I've learned that loads of influencers compared to me say no to a lot more than I do.
I feel like, yeah, I've been saying no to a lot more recently, and that's not in an ungrateful way. It's just the way I'm starting to see my brand go in the next few years, I have to think about the brands that I'm going to work with, and if they align with that, if they align with, you know, what I want from the collaborations. Also, it's kind of like cross-promoting brands as well. So I'm not going to be posting 3 different tan brands in the space of a month because it's
really inauthentic.
Exactly. I like to kind of stick to the brands that I love, that I use. Obviously, I'm always going to trial out new brands, but before I ever go ahead with a campaign, I will trial out the products first. So I feel like I have got a lot more strict in the terms of the brands that I work with. And say if I use a makeup product and it brings me out in a rash, then I can't go ahead with a campaign. And even if it's like my best paid campaign, I just have to kind of stay true to myself and what I actually use and love, because at the end of the day, I'm influencing you guys to purchase it, and beauty and clothes can be expensive, and then if you buy it and it's awful. So I feel like you were saying, you know, you try and align to brands that you obviously I wouldn't say you're fully vegan, right?
Yeah, I'm not like fully.
Yeah, so you wouldn't work, like Mollie said, with like a fur brand, whereas I feel like I'm kind of stepping away a bit more from fast fashion. I want to work with a bit more sustainable brands and brands that are a bit more quality over quantity. So rather than buying like a massive haul of clothing, just getting like 5 good staple pieces that are going to be a bit more expensive. So it's just kind of like figuring out the brands that align with you and if it's going to work, and also if your audience are going to resonate with it. I feel like sometimes a brand can just stick out and it's can't get my words out. It's not authentic. I feel like you'll know, you can kind of tell.
Yeah, and our management legally have to bring every single deal to us, and then it's on us to turn it down. So like we're never forced to say yes to something.
Yeah, it's always our decision who we want to work with.
Yeah.
So I'm going to round it up here, and then you can head over to Mollie's channel and see part 2 over there and find out a lot more. But hopefully this covered a lot. I feel like a bit weird. Like I feel like I've opened up a lot that I never normally do on here.
There's nothing to hide as well.
Yeah.
Also, today we are going to be filming a reel, so you can go.
Clothes you can see in the back.
Yeah, we're going to be doing that on our Instagrams, so you can tag our Instagrams here. And we're doing like a size 8 versus size 18 vertical video content for you, so you can see like, yeah, the same outfits but on different sizes.
Yeah, kind of like I say, we're going to do staple pieces. It's just a good way of how to style staples, how Mollie styles it, how I style it, so you can see that on our Instagram. So I will tag our Instagrams on the screen and also down below, so you can find them there as well. And then make sure you go see part 2 on Mollie's, and I will leave the video here. Make sure you do like and subscribe. If you do like kind of seeing a lot more of this and seeing a bit more of the behind the scenes, insightful into our lives of influencing, then please do let me know in the comments. Voice is going. I feel like we're coming to the end of this video.
We've got another half to do, so save yourself.
Basically, definitely like and subscribe, guys, and head over to Mollie's channel for part 2.
Thanks for having me.